Hey everybody, it's me, Zach, this is Judy, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody, hi, hello, how are you doing? And welcome back to another week of recapping TLC's newest, hottest, hittest, most wonderful show, The 1,000 Pound Best Friends, or as I will try to remember to continue calling it, The 1,000 Pound Besties, starring Megan, Tina, Ashley, and Vanessa. So if you all haven't caught up with everything that's going on this new TLC show, what are you doing, first of all? But second of all, I'll leave a playlist of every single video I've made so far on my channel about the 1,000 Pound Besties, okay? So it's only like 2 at this point, so you got plenty of time to catch up. There's all kinds of time to catch up. Come get on board, let's check it out. I will say that the first couple of episodes so far have felt a little introductory, okay? It's felt a little bit like, for all intents and purposes, these people are strangers, I think, to most of you. I mean, it feels a little bit different because, you know, with Amy and Tammy on the 1,000 Pound Sisters, I personally already knew who they were. And also, though, if you go back to season 1, it probably felt a lot like what we're getting right now from the 1,000 Pound Besties, okay? Like, you know that we gotten used to, at least in season 3, almost every single episode of season 3 had some, like, high stakes, high drama, yelling, crazy things happening, and that's just like not been necessarily the case so far, which is fine. It's only 2 episodes in. And I would say even for this episode, really truly, only like the first half was feeling a little bit like, I don't know, this is kind of going a little slow. I don't know if other people felt that way, but it felt like the first half was just kind of like, we're going through the motions, we're introducing everybody, we're doing this thing. But I feel like the second half picked up. It was a little bit more drama-y, or a little bit more interesting. Maybe drama is not the word for it, but interesting might be. So with all of that being said, I guess like let's get into the episode, shall we? So if you remember, the last episode left off in Dr. Proctor's office, and Megan had her little moment situation type of deal with Dr. Proctor, and for whatever reason they said you have to wait till next week to see what happens with Vanessa. But I don't know, for me, last week I already said this, but it felt like a little bit of like, a little anticlimactic, I guess is what I'll say. It felt anticlimactic. But we get back and we see that Megan's feeling very emotional. She's crying because she feels, I guess, bad that like she didn't make the progress she wanted to make, and she knows she's got to do better, which also makes Vanessa a little bit nervous because Vanessa's thinking like, girl, you've been successful, so if this went bad for you, it's gonna go not great for me at all. So her and Jacob make their way back to go talk to Dr. Proctor, and one thing that I have to say, so like Vanessa is very much like, oh, I want to impress you, I want to make sure I can show and prove to you that I can do this. And I just gotta say, I appreciate that Dr. Proctor put the kibosh on that real quick, because he was like, listen, this is not about proving yourself to me or anybody else. Like, you're doing this for you. And I think that that is something that we continuously see on shows like this, or like, I don't know, even in the other people I cover on my channel, where they're like, I'm doing this for so-and-so, I want to do this to inspire other people, I want to do this to prove myself to whoever, whatever. And really what matters is like doing these things for yourself and making the commitment to yourself. So Vanessa does weigh in. I think the very first time she saw Dr. Proctor, she weighed in at 446 pounds. And then the last time that she had seen him prior to this moment where they're filming, she had gotten down to 427, which I think at the time he indicated was like some good progress. But now, after weighing in again, she is up to 441 pounds. So she's basically like almost back to where she started. And Vanessa gets pretty emotional about this and shares how she had given up really on herself, but how like thinking about losing people kind of re-motivated her.
My grandfather died at 51. My mother died at 51. I'm already 42, fixing to be 43 years old. That only gives me 7 years.
If that, Vanessa. If that.
And I don't know, like, I'm obviously not in Vanessa's situation health-wise, but, like, I feel like I could relate to this for many different reasons, or, like, different reasons than what she had. I mean, I think as you get older, you start to realize, like, your mortality, right? And for me personally, my dad passed away when he was 55 for, again, different reasons, not not reasons related to being, like, morbidly obese. But I often do think about how that's only, like, 20 years away, and she's even closer to her 50s. She's, like, in her 40s, and so, yeah, I think once you start thinking about things like that and your own mortality, it really, like, switches things up for you. We also get to see a weigh-in from her son Jacob, and he weighs in at 466 pounds. And you can tell that Vanessa really takes a lot of responsibility for where he's at and where he is in terms of his own health. She feels very responsible for him getting there, and I don't know, I think, like, there's probably for sure aspects of that that are fair, right? Like, I mean, she is his mom. She is the one that is, like, responsible for feeding him and helping him learn how to, like, live in general, which would include how he eats. And it also is very concerning that he is as big as he is at 18 years old. I think that that's, like, her concern as well. That's the concern that Dr. Proctor has too. He's like, listen, if you're already at this weight, like, typically from what I've seen, it doesn't get any better than this unless you really start to put in some work and try to change the way things are working out. But I also think, like, if you look at the rest of the episode and some of the stuff and the dynamics with Vanessa's sister Jackie, like, I also feel like it's very much just as much her responsibility or, like, her problem or her reason, because she just brings it in and she already, like, pressures Vanessa. And I don't know, maybe that's a conversation for when we get to that part of the episode. But now in hindsight, I'm, like, looking at my notes, and at this point in the episode, I kind of forgot Jackie existed. But, like, for Vanessa to take the entire blame when, like, they have a food bully in their house trying to encourage them to eat donuts and pizza and ice cream all the time, like, I would say, like, a portion of that responsibility can also go to Jackie. But Vanessa talks about how she wants to be motivated by Jacob and, like, getting healthier for Jacob for a number of reasons. I think really what she says in this particular moment is that she wants to do better because he eats like she eats, so she's eating better, he'll eat better, which I do get that understanding, but also, like, I think the fatal flaw we see so often in these people on these shows, or at least I guess, like, in comparison to the 1,000 Pound Sisters, is, like, they're always so worried about everybody else and not worried about themselves, right? Like, before you can help anybody else, like, help yourself out. Please certainly do still care about your son. Like, I think that that's super important and you should be encouraging him, but, like, don't let that also get in the way of, like, helping yourself for your own intrinsic reasons. But that's about it. That's about their time with Dr. Proctor. He does connect them with both a nutritionist and a therapist, who we'll see later in the episode. But that's that, and they go home. And they go home. And the next scene we get is the four besties, all four of them, Megan, Tina, Ashley, and Vanessa, all going to the pool. On the car ride there, we get a brief little moment of learning about Ashley, and she once again talks about how she did have surgery once, and she has some of the similar problems to Megan of, like, not being able to maintain the progress she made from that surgery. And I don't know, it still feels like Ashley and Tina are, like, tertiary characters, side characters, like, not the main event, which is fine. But I personally would like to know more about them. They both seem like a good time. I feel like, based on previews, maybe next week we'll get to know a little bit more about Ashley, so I'm looking forward to that. But, like, overall, I still feel like we've gotten to know a lot about Megan and Vanessa and not nearly as much about Tina and Ashley. And the one thing I do appreciate about this show that 1,000 Pound Sisters didn't have is that they are all very, like, encouraging of one another, to the extent that they even talked about it here on Going to the Pool. Like, Vanessa talked about, like, this would not normally be something that she would want to do, but, like, feels empowered to go do stuff like this because she has her friends with her.
They're going to think what they're going to think, and we're going to come in large and in charge.
I love it. Yeah. Large and in charge.
And I think that that's something that was missing for sure from 1,000 Pound Sisters. Like, all of the support there was very one-sided. Very much no support coming from Tammy, but lots of support coming from everybody else. But I just appreciate that. I appreciate that they are, like, actually, at least right now, in episode 2, they all seem very supportive of one another. They also have a moment where they have to level out the picnic bench so it doesn't topple over.
Sit down.
Yeah. Even the weight out. Sit lightly. There we go.
Is it stable?
It is.
See, that's why
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
And I'll have to say, just as like a very tall, large human in general, I'm 6'2". I know that's always a surprise to people. But even as a like tall, large human myself, like I've been there before. Like I've sat down on like park benches, picnic benches, and like tipped it over because I'm just big. I'm just big. Probably not to the same extent that they've had that problem, but I did relate to that a little bit. I also related to them saying they didn't want to go down the green tube because it was enclosed. I don't know, just as like a tall person again, I get very worried about getting stuck places. I'm so worried I'm gonna end up in something and I won't be able to get out. And so the claustrophobia from things like enclosed water slides, it's very real. But what I don't understand was Megan talk about these washers and dryers.
I think you have to think about stuff like that, getting stuck in stalls, showers, tubes, getting stuck in the dryer or washer. Oof.
What? Wait a minute, how you get in? Huh? So you just hanging inside the dryer?
And you're not allowed to do laundry at home alone ever.
So they do opt to go on the not enclosed slide. There's like another blue slide that has an opening so nobody has to worry about getting stuck. And they had to walk up a shit ton of stairs to get to the top of it. And you better believe TLC's there with their cameras watching every inch of the struggle. For Vanessa in particular, she seems to be the one that's primarily struggling with going up all these steps. And they really let her get all the way to the top of these stairs to be like, girl, there's a weight limit.
You're good, babe.
Excuse me, ma'am. There's a weight limit for the slide.
What's the weight limit?
350.
350? Because I weigh 441. I can't ride it. I'm out.
Sorry about that.
TLC, you shady motherfuckers. You absolutely shady, rude as hell motherfuckers. You really let this woman climb all the way up to the top of these stairs and you're telling me you had no idea? You had no idea that there was gonna be a weight limit on this water slide? No, ma'am, I do not believe it. I am not buying what you're selling. Y'all are shady for making her go through that when you knew she was gonna get to the top of that slide and they were gonna say, no, ma'am, you can't come on here. I will say the besties were very supportive. They were like, listen, girl, you made it up these steps. You made it back down these steps. Like that was something that you didn't think you could do and you did it. And I do think potentially it could make a good moment on the show later should Vanessa lose the weight. Like how cute would that be for them to go back and like show Vanessa going down that water slide? Like that would be super cute. But I still think it's shady and rude as hell. I think it is shady and rude as hell that you put that woman through all of that just for her to get to the top and be like, oh, there's a weight limit. Y'all knew what you were doing. And the rest of them do end up going down the slide, which I think was fun. It was fun to see them having fun.
We come to you today to make sure that my hair doesn't get wet and that we don't die. Okay, amen. Oh, hell. I'm scared.
And we get one last little moment from this particular scene where they are discussing Vanessa's sister Jackie and how Jackie is a bad influence. And just wait, we're gonna see Jackie be that bad influence and that bad source of peer pressure later in the episode. So the next thing that we get to see is Vanessa and Megan meeting with the nutritionist that Dr. Proctor set them up with. And the nutritionist asked them to shop for what they would typically pick out for a Sunday dinner. And on their way to do that, they finally give me the fart content I've been waiting for.
Be careful.
Oh, okay.
Because you got gas.
Oh, you gonna fart on me?
I would not want to.
Yeah, right.
And while they're shopping, I don't know, I kind of feel like Megan's cluelessness feels a little, like, forced, scripted. I don't know. Because, like, in the Too Large episode that they did, it was clear that Megan had some kind of concept or understanding of nutrition. Like, they literally had her trying to help Vanessa come up with healthy alternatives and healthy things she could do with, like, the food that she got at the pantry. So now you're telling me that Megan's just suddenly forgotten all of that? Like, I don't know if I'm buying that entirely. I feel like y'all just wanted some kind of content and you were just doing whatever you had to do. Like, you're telling me you really don't understand how spinach pasta works?
You can't go wrong with spinach, right?
No, you can't go wrong with spinach.
It's spinach pasta.
Oh, it's spinach pasta.
It's spinach. Even if it has carbs, it's probably good carbs, right? Just because it's got a picture of a vegetable on the cover does not mean it's like that. They know that people want to eat healthy, so they give you the illusion that you're eating healthy. In the meantime, you're packing on the pounds and not realizing it.
Either way, they do end up going over that with the nutritionist, so hopefully now they do understand it, whether that was scripted or not. And they also gave us this very unoriginal rhyme about beans that I used to sing when I was in, like, elementary school.
Beans are good for your heart.
The more you eat, the more you fart.
And the more you fart, the better you feel. So eat beans with every meal.
Oh, Lord, I didn't know that part. I didn't know that part.
Unoriginal, but it was about farting, and I feel like at this point I gotta take whatever we can get. Whatever content we can get about farting. I've missed it post 1,000 Pound Sisters, and I gotta have it. They do have a relatable moment talking about how they feel like they get judged by the cashier when they come through the line at the grocery store with their snacks, and I've been there. I felt that for sure. And they leave talking about making this cauliflower potato salad, which sounds gross, honestly. Like, they're making it with cauliflower and Greek yogurt. I mean, I feel like at that point, like, let's maybe just not have potato salad. You know what I'm saying? The next scene we get opens up with Vanessa using her potty chair and powdering herself. And listen, girl, I hope you do powder yourself. Do whatever you have to do to feel comfortable, be comfortable, not be in pain. Love that for you. But, like, I feel like there's gotta be a better way to powder yourself than, like, straight up on your bed. Like, all that powder's just going all over your room, all over your bed. Like, girl, there's just gotta be a better way. There really just has to be a better way. And Jackie shows up and she's got breakfast for the whole family. There's, like, donuts, pancakes, hash browns, eggs, sausage, things like that. And Jackie pushes her to eat it and is just like, I just want you to be happy.
Oh, my God, that looks amazing, but, I mean, I can't eat 90% of that.
Yes, you can.
No, she can.
You know I'm trying to stick to my diet.
I want you to be happy.
And she does that despite Vanessa saying over and over and over and over and over again, like, I don't want to eat this. I'm, like, trying to make changes. I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to be a better person. And she just keeps saying, like, I want you to be happy. And I just don't. It feels so toxic, honestly.
You gotta be realistic about it, Vanessa. Are you not ever gonna eat donuts again?
And, like, what do you mean, are you ever gonna eat donuts again? Like, I feel like donuts are not something that, like, most people eat on a regular basis. Like, I don't know, maybe every once in a while when somebody brings it into the office, or maybe, like, if you're out to get a coffee and you decide to pick one up from the Starbucks, although does Starbucks even have? If you're out at getting coffee at the Dunkin' Donuts and you're like, let me just pick up a donut. But most people don't eat donuts on, like, a daily basis. Like, realistically, yes, you could go the rest of your life never eating another donut. And also Jackie's like, well, I guess I could have brought back some salads.
I love my sister. I want to support her. I could have brought back some salads. I don't know who's gonna eat them.
Jackie, what the fuck, Jackie? Jackie, I don't understand. Like, I think that they mentioned, like, some of the friends mentioned that they were concerned that Jackie just, like, doesn't want to live a life without Vanessa, and she thinks that if Vanessa suddenly gets healthier, then she won't need Jackie to, like, take care of her and things like that. And that's just, like, toxic. That's toxic because the reality is that it could lead to, like, literally not having Vanessa someday, and then you really won't have any option. It's like you could have, like, a healthy living Vanessa, or you could have no Vanessa, you know? And just, like, none of it makes sense to me. And Vanessa points out that she's essentially like a drug addict. Like, she knows that she can't have these things around her because she will partake in them. Like, she can't say no to these things. And literally says to her sister, like, you're killing me. Like, by bringing this stuff in the house right now, you are killing me. Like, it is killing me. And truly, I do think, like, the onus will always be on Vanessa to take care of Vanessa. Like, it will always be her responsibility. But I do agree with her. Like, it grinds my gears that her sister's out here being so unhelpful and unwilling to be supportive of her. Like, it feels so weird, so manipulative, and so toxic, and it just does not sit right with me that she doesn't respect Vanessa's boundaries and things like that. So we move on to the next scene where it's like Megan and Tina having a snack. Tina's eating apples and Megan's like, well, I'm gonna have some potato salad, you know, just a casual afternoon snack. And Megan takes some of her own advice because she had previously told Vanessa, like, listen, if you're struggling, just give me a call and I will help you off your struggle. I will help you off the struggle bus and support you. And she says, well, I'm going to call Vanessa because I need help right now because I want to eat this potato salad. And Megan just doesn't think that salad and meat is sustainable.
I just don't think living on salad is sustainable, nor do I think living on just meat for the rest of my life is sustainable either.
And listen, this is like the second time in this show that somebody has invoked the name of salads when it comes to leading a healthy lifestyle or eating in a healthy way. And I just, like, I don't understand why everybody thinks that, like, eating healthy means all you're eating is salad. Like, I don't understand that as a concept. That doesn't make sense to me. And, like, based on the conversation you literally just had with the nutritionist, like, there are other options outside of salad. Like, she gave you other options. And it's not just people on this show or other weight loss shows or weight loss YouTube channels. It's just like, for some reason, we were all brainwashed with this idea that the only way to lose weight and eat healthy was to eat salad. Which, like, the way a lot of people eat salad anyways is not healthy because it's usually, like, covered in toppings and dressing and things like that. So it's just like, where did we get this idea from? What is the big salad industry doing to brainwash us into thinking that this is the way? Megan also shares that she has pictures of Dr. Proctor up all around her home, and I really would love a Dr. Proctor magnet if anybody knows where I can find one, even if it's on the Redbubble or something like that. Like, I want a Dr. Proctor magnet on my fridge. But also, she talks about how she only has it in 3 places, and Vanessa's like, oh yeah? Yeah?
He's only on 3 things in the house so far.
Her dildo, her refrigerator, and her cabinet.
Don't call me out.
Y'all, this show has so much sexually explicit content! We are always talking about sexy times. If the 1,000 Pound Sisters had fart jokes, this one has, like, sexual references. There are so many sexual references here. So Megan wraps up the call with Vanessa and suggests that they go talk to the therapist that Dr. Proctor connected them with. And Vanessa immediately has reservations because she's like, I've not had great experiences before with therapists. She's talked about how she's, like, felt pressured by therapists to say things or do things, and sounds like she just has, like, a lot of trust issues wrapped up with, like, a particular bad or couple of bad experiences with therapy. So I hope that she can find that, like, not all therapy is like that. In fact, like, if your therapist is pressuring you to do stuff you don't want to do, chances are they're probably not a great therapist, okay? So I hope she has a much better experience. It seems like, in this episode, at least, she does end up having a better experience. But I also do think it's weird that they're going together, like, especially because outside of their friendship, like, it'd probably be more effective for them both if they were just, like, sharing their own things by themselves. So they do in fact go to see a therapist, and honestly it felt like a pretty good experience for both of them. It felt like they both were actually able to share a lot of stuff that was helpful, at least in like making a step forward or a movement forward. It also happens to be, and I didn't mention this about the nutritionist, but both the nutritionist and the therapist were the same nutritionist and therapist that Amy and Tammy saw when they, like, back in season 1 and 2 of their show. So it's clear that these are like people that Dr. Proctor works with and or TLC works with. And Megan shares a lot about some stuff she already talked a lot about in her Too Large episode, but in particular, she was married when she was like 19 and had really bad experience with that. He was not a great guy, and as a result, like, she turned to food for comfort and turned to food to like deal with her problems at the time. She also talked about how she's having trouble seeing her weight loss reflected in the mirror. Like, when she looks at herself, she still sees herself at her original weight. And Megan definitely is very vulnerable with the therapist, and I feel like she really did actually accomplish some kind of like breakthrough moment with the therapist. And Vanessa, I think, saw all of that, and I think that was helpful for Vanessa to see. Like, well, I don't know that I necessarily do advocate that, like, going to therapy as a friend couple is always effective. It does seem like it opened up Vanessa to sharing and or trusting the therapist that she saw. She also shares that she is envious of Megan's success, but she also notes that, like, Megan is able to have that success because her experiences are different, right? Like, Megan does not live with a sister like Jackie, who's out here trying to, like, hold her back and make sure that she is not, like, progressing in her weight loss. And Megan talks about wanting Vanessa to find her own place because she doesn't think that Jackie's helpful, and she notes, like, you can still love and care for Jackie and not live with Jackie. And Vanessa seems a little bit on the fence about that because, like, it sounds like they've just generally lived with each other for the majority of their lives, and that's, like, a big change. And of course it's a big change, and so I understand her reservations, but also would love to see her move away from Jackie, because it's clear Jackie has no interest in her getting, like, significantly better anytime soon. And that's where we end the episode. We closed the episode with the therapist, and I thought that, you know, the second half of this episode was, like, way more interesting to me than the first half. But overall, I had a good time for the most part, I would say. Like, I still enjoy it. I'm still here. I'm still vibing with what's going on. And I'm curious to know what your thoughts are down below. Like I said, next week, it looks like we're gonna get a little bit more of Ashley's story. It looks like she's gonna go see Dr. Proctor herself. And the girls are going glamping, and it looks like there's a fight that breaks out with Miss Vanessa. So I'm curious to see what happens there, because we haven't had that kind of drama yet, really, truly. I mean, there's a little bit of drama flaring up with Jackie, but we haven't had, like, drama. So I'm curious to see what happens there. Let me know your thoughts down below. This is all I have time for today. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe down below and hit the bell button so you get notifications every single time I post a new video. Make sure to leave me a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all of my social media. I had so much fun with you all today. I hope you did too, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!